All right, let's check out these patch notes. Big beta patch notes version 0.100.1 came out this morning. Wanted to read it, check it out, let you know what my guys' thoughts are on what they've changed in the game. It looks like a lot. I didn't think it was going to be that much, but I was scrolling down and saw quite a bit. I am expecting a lot more stuff on the Necrobinder and Regent because they felt like they had the... I mean, obviously they're newer characters. The other ones have already kind of had a base for what they kind of play like. So I expect more tweaking for them, and that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. But welcome to the first big post-launch beta, or patch, Slayers. This one has huge balance pass, the main aim of which is to make infinites harder to achieve. Okay, we're also introducing a phobia mode with bespoke assets that should mitigate various creepy phobia concerns. Speaking of visuals, here are some other major highlights. That's funny. I think that's funny because they're all kind of cartoony looking, but I know there are people that have... I know people personally that can't do like spiders and will turn on the like arachnophobia mode in games. So cool art. I don't know what these are for. I know this is sloth actually. Oh, that's cool. Cool new character specific VFX when you gain energy. Probably will never notice it, but I like that it's there. General added a deprecated card. Placeholder status. Draw one card. Remove this card from your deck. Exhaust. If you have a run in progress, a card in your deck is removed from the game due to a recent update. It will be replaced with deprecated card. Okay, so they're just replacing cards that they've tweaked in your deck. That's cool. Ironclad, rework Dominate. Card skill cost 1 uncommon. Apply 1 to 2 vulnerable. Gain 1 strength for each vulnerable on the enemy. Exhaust. Okay, so that you can't just keep spamming this now. I kind of like that because I did not really like the upgrade for this one. I felt like it kind of clogged my deck. And I like that the upgrade gives you more vulnerable and then it kind of gets out. So you can set it up once and then you're done with it and it's not just always there. So I think that's nice, honestly. Reworked expect to fight. Cost 2 upgrades to 1 now. I don't know if it was always like that. I think it was always like that. Gain energy for each attack in your hand. You cannot gain additional energy this turn. Probably a good change because that one was just always to get value out of, I feel like. You could just, I mean, especially on the Ironclad with so many attacks. So that is definitely, I mean, that won't work as well in decks with other energy gainers now. Rework Spike card, cost 0, attack uncommon. Deal 5 damage if you lost HP this turn, hits 2 or 3 times. Interesting, so that's no longer... I think this card used to draw. Let me check. I'll have this pulled up just in case. Yeah, if you lost HP this turn, draw. Now it's just a multi-attack. And at base it hits twice. Well, to be fair, I never took this card. But converting it to damage, I don't know. I never really took it because I didn't... It just never... I always had so much energy with Bloodletting and the other energy cards. And there were other sources of draw. I've just never had a reason to, but not too much of an opinion on that one. Rework Stoke. Cost 1 rare. Exhaust your hand. Add 1 random upgraded card into your hand for each card exhausted. 1 random upgraded card into your hand for each card exhausted. Ooh, that's weird. I liked Stoke the way it was. It was so good. It was just purely like... It was pretty much a reboot, but for the Ironclad, like if your hand sucks... Just reboot it, draw a bunch of new cards, and get rid of the crap in your deck. Which it still is, you could still do that, but now you're getting random stuff instead of the stuff you want to see in your deck, so I don't like that as much. I think it's not as good as it used to be, probably, but it could be really good. You could get some really good stuff. So that's just different. Interesting. Silent, reworked Prepared. Card into Prepare. Skill, cost 1. Oh, they made it cost 1. Okay, discard 2 cards. Next turn, gain 2 to 3 energy. That's way different. What the heck? Okay, so it's still pretty good. It's going to cost 1 now, though. That's definitely a nerf, man. I don't think that's as good. You're paying 1. You're basically getting energy next turn, which is nice because I feel like the Silent only has Tactician right now as far as gaining energy from cards. So that'll be nice because then you can use that to get other stuff into play. Like your bigger powers like Serpent Form. That's why I haven't taken Serpent Form that much, because there's just not a lot of energy on the Silent, and the energy in the game is harder to find in general. But being able to discard 2 cards is still nice because, I mean, you'll get all the Sly stuff going. So that's still, it's energy on that turn in a way if you have Sly and energy for the next turn. So interesting. But you are paying 1 now. I don't know. I'll have to play with that to see how it feels, but it still seems pretty good. I like that they're adding more energy for the Silent to be able to gain outside of just Tactician, because I think that's the only one. That and Bullet Time, I guess, technically is energy. Regent. Reworked Glow card. Skill, cost 1 common, gain 1 or 2 stars. Okay, so that's the same. Draw 1 card next turn, draw 1 card. Okay, so delayed draw. Not as good as it was before, I think, which glow was one of the staples of every single one of my Regent decks. I feel like the stars right now are just the stronger tree you can kind of go into every time. They feel the most consistent. I feel like I'm playing the most cards and seeing the most cards when I do this. Whenever I go into like a Forge or colorless card thing, I don't know. Forge feels slow. You have to be able to block. You just can't. It feels like you can't do as much, and it's not as flexible as stars are. With stars, you can get big attacks that hit with just once, or you can get a bunch of small multi-attacks which work in more fights. I think the Forge is just one big, hammer, which isn't great in some fights, like the beetles, the little exoskeleton guys that can only take 9. So to me, the stars seem way strong right now, and Forge, I don't see a reason to ever, like, Forge just doesn't feel great outside of maybe having 1 or 2 cards to get it going, but the yellow rare cards for Forge just don't feel great to me. Anyway, draw 1 card, next turn draw 1 card, yeah. I feel like that's a little bit worse, but still probably a solid card. Colorless cards, reworked hidden gem card, skill cost 1, a random card in your draw pile without replay gains replay. Okay, I haven't taken that card yet. It's a good card. Putting replay on stuff is good, especially if you've taken out all your basic starter cards. Enemies, rework Doormaker. Okay, that's actually really good because the Doormaker, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue what his shtick is. Like, I get the Queen. The Queen has whatever the status effect. You can only play 1 of your 3 cards on the turn. And I get Test Subject. He's cool. He's all the elites in one. I understand there's play with it. Doormaker literally just feels like a punching bag to me. And like a block check. If your deck can block, I don't know, 24 a turn consistently, if you can do that, you'll probably be fine. Outside of that, I have no clue what what you're trying to accomplish, or what your deck needs to be able to do with him. It just feels like you just need to be able to pump out a ton of damage, which and the third act is usually pretty easy. So I feel like he's the easiest of the 3. I don't know. I actually don't know if I think he's the easiest, but he just feels like he has no identity right now. So I'm excited to see what that means. Rework Skulking Colony. This is the elite in the Underdogs that is like the heart and can't lose a certain amount of HP every turn to have a deadlier moveset. Okay, I'll be excited to see what that is. I already feel like this guy's pretty rough. You have to be able to block against him. I think the most he does is like 20 in the first rotation. And you can't just burst him down with damage, so he's definitely a trickier side. I feel like the Underdogs is trickier in general, but Ancients added new Niao Blessing, Hefty Tablet. Choose 1 of 3 rare cards to add to your deck. Add 1 injury to your deck. Oh, okay, that's fun. I do want new Niao Blessings. I love the amount of options in the first game that Niao gave. It felt like there was always more choices to be made at the beginning of a run than there are now, I guess. And so adding more of these is, I think, a really good thing. And I like that. That's cool. And there's another one, new Niao Blessing, Niao's Talisman. Upgrade 1 of your strikes and 1 of your defense. That is, I don't know how I feel about that one. Okay. I'll definitely take it once just because I like to mix it up. But yeah, new Niao's Blessings is great. I love that. Balance general. All relics in the shop now cost 25 gold less. That is actually awesome because I feel like the minimum cost for every relic in the shop is like 200, which is way more than the first game. And you'd be lucky if you could buy one at the shop, 1 relic at the shop. I feel like usually is great, but if you can buy more than that, you're really rolling in it. So that's great. I love that. Give you some more options as far as what you can buy. Relics that generate gold, such as Bowler Hat and Amethyst Aubergine, no longer appear at the merchant. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's fine. I don't really know how I feel about that. That's just a decision they've decided to make, I guess. Gloom Ascension now also affects question mark rooms. Oh, Gloom. What is Gloom? I can't remember. I guess we can pull up the game real quick. Do multiplayer, because that's way higher for me than my... Oh, here we go. Gloom. Oh, okay. Wow, that makes that way worse. Okay, so Gloom Ascension now also affects question mark. So there's less of them, and there's less camp rest sites. That's going to be tough. That is a hard modifier. I think question marks are kind of nice in avoiding fights and making your deck stronger and giving HP back and stuff. So I like that, though. I like a challenge. Power values can no longer stack above 999,999,999. Okay, that's fine with me. You can no longer acquire epics in daily or custom runs. Okay, Wasn't even aware of that. Certain character stats no longer update in daily or custom runs. Also wasn't even aware of that. I don't really do these, so that's fine with me. Ironclad buff break. This is a card I actually haven't seen yet. I've never been offered that, but the energy cost has been decreased to 1, which is really good. Because I think it applies 5 vulnerable, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of my buddies got it in a run, so all vulnerable for 5 turns. I know it's similar probably to Repress, which is just the weak version for the silent, but and then the damage was increased. Okay, that seems like a very good card. The 2 energy cost was a big ask before with the scarcity of energy in this game, but Ironclad has some ways to get around that already with Stampede and stuff, so. But going to 1 is great. I like that. Okay. Buffed Cinder card, damage increased. Okay, so it's just doing a little bit more. I haven't taken that card yet personally either. I just don't love exhausting random things off the top of my deck, but I will at some point. Buff Fight Me, self-strength gain from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Wow, okay. And I'm guessing the amount of strength that the enemy gets is unchanged. This card is very good, I think. It's essentially Brimstone for Ironclad in card form, which Brimstone is really good, so I mean, just a way to play a card and get strength immediately. This is almost, I mean, with a small downside is like an Inflame, but almost kind of better because you're getting the same amount of strength and you're attacking, and it's an attack that scales with the strength that you're gaining. So interesting that they buffed it. It is 2 cost though, so there's that to think about. Nerf Forgotten Ritual card now exhausts. Okay, yeah, that's the one that gives you 3 or 4 energy if you exhaust card, which was pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. In some decks with trigger it and stuff, and in like battle trances, you could pretty much consistently always get that, so that makes sense. Hemokinesis card has been buffed, damage increased 14 to 15, so just small tweaks. Buff Tremble card, vulnerable increased. This I like because, bro, I always found it so hard to take Tremble, especially early when I had a bash in my deck already. It is nice because it's a way to apply vulnerable for cheaper, so I can play more attacks, but I like this change. This is good. I think it'll help with me wanting to take it more often, and also there's a lot of vulnerable scaling stuff. So silent. Nerfed Anticipate card, dexterity increased from 3 to 2. Okay, this is a card I never really took anyways. I feel like it's best used in a deck with well-laid plans where you can keep holding on to it for a turn where you got a big attack, but I would always I prefer Footworks way more than this, man. Like, just give me some Footworks. I don't want Anticipates clogging up my deck. That said, I do think it's an okay card, but Corrosive Wave card, poison decrease from 3 to 2. Okay, so just very minor stuff. I actually haven't had a deck where I bet Corrosive Wave would do wonders for me, but nerf Flick Flack. Yeah, so they're nerfing some of the Sly here. 7 to 6, which is still, I think, a great card. Free AoE, potentially. If not, it's still 1 cost, so very good. Buff Grand Finale card, damage increase from 50 to 60. Okay, that makes sense. So they just wanted to be a little stronger. I haven't seen anybody who will be able to get this work in multiplayer or in my own runs, so that's fine with me. Nerf Pinpoint, a very strong silent card because there's so many skills that she utilizes. Just nerfing the damage on it, that makes sense to me. Probably needed. Buff Skewer, damage increased. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't taken a Skewer yet because I felt like my damage is coming. I had a lot of good damage from other sources, and also there's not a lot of ways to get a lot of energy on silent like I was mentioning earlier, but now with Prepared being an energy card, this might be better. So that's cool. I'm guessing that they buffed this because not a lot of people were taking it like me. I still think it's a really good silent card. Just not as much ways to get energy in this game. It's not as valuable. Nerfed Untouchable card. Untouchable, I'm not even sure I remember that one. Oh, this one. Block gain decreased from 7 to 9, so nerfing some more of the Sly stuff. That is brutal. I rarely took this card just because I didn't want a 2-cost card for 9 block. Like, it just doesn't seem very good, especially with the amount of other good block cards the Silent has available to her. And is it fine in a Sly deck? Yes, but at that point, if you have a Sly deck working, you probably already have better sources of block. So I just never really even touched this card. That's interesting that they nerf it. Maybe a lot of people were taking it, but that's just been my experience with it. Okay, well those make sense to me. That's cool. Those are kind of the originals. I guess we can do Defect first. He doesn't have that much. There's a lot, obviously, here for the 2 new characters, which I was expecting. Nerfed Hotfix card now has Exhaust. Upgrade, I kind of even like that. Hotfix is really good in this. I think focus is, any kind of focus in this game is busted. Like the strike card that gives you focus strike is very good because that just small difference, even on 1 turn, can lead to so much more block and damage. I didn't take hotfix a lot because I was usually looking, I don't know, I just like to keep my deck slim and I don't like zero cost cards that if I don't have a lot of draw going, and if I do have a lot of draw going, I usually already have other means of applying focus at that point, like a defrag, or I just have different type of scaling, like getting a bunch of orb slots or something. But yeah, having exhaust is good. I might actually, I don't know, it definitely, oh, it removes exhaust instead of increasing focus. I like that. We'll see. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. But exhaust seems kind of nice. Get out of my deck, just get the benefit for one turn. It would be bad early if you don't have any of your orbs set up, but that's interesting. I like that change though. We'll see how that plays. Buffed Rocket Punch card. This is the one, oh, it's got so much text on it. Does damage, draws a card, and costs less for every status card or something that you have. Let's take a look at it. When a status card is created, reduce this card's cost to 0. This turn, it costs 2. So now the cost reduction effect now lasts until it is played. I like that a lot because lining that up on a turn was usually the reason I wouldn't take it. I think that makes it a lot better. Okay, cool. Let's go back up to the Regent. He's got a lot of stuff happening. Regent, nerfed alignment card. This is another one of the staples that I would find myself taking in most of my Regent decks just because that energy gain is insane. The star cost increase, that makes sense because 2 stars for 2 energy is crazy. I think it upgraded to 3 energy too, so that makes sense to me. I'm probably going to be seeing a lot of nerfing of the star cards. I'm guessing it buffing of the other trees, like the minion stuff and the colorless card stuff and the Forge. Change Begone card. Now a skill that no longer deals damage. Now creates minion strike instead of minion dive bomb. Let's take a look at that. Where are you? There you are. So it no longer deals damage. You just choose a card in your hand to transform into minion dive bomb. Except now it doesn't do minion dive bomb, it does minion strike. Oh, it's a draw. Interesting. That'll just be different, I guess. Buffed Bundle of Joy card. Buffed Bundle of Joy card. Cost lowered from 2 to 1. I don't know these cards because some of them I just do not take. Add 3 random colorless cards to your hand. Exhaust. Yeah, this one I've never do. Like, I just don't understand. Unless you're in a super energy rich deck, why you'd want to add 3 random cards to your deck for 2 energy. You have no clue what the payoff is or what you're getting, and you're probably not going to even be able to afford them. So nerfing that energy cost makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. That actually gives you the ability to play what you get maybe that turn to answer some of the problems you're facing. Change charge card. Now creates minion dive bomb cards instead of minion. Okay, charge has been different. Okay, so they've just kind of swapped Begone and Charge then. So you're going to be doing more damage instead of drawing cards with Charge, which makes sense. You want minions dive bombing people when you yell Charge. Okay, that's fine. Buffed Collision Course card. Damage increased from 9 to 11. I think this is the 0 cost card that adds a debris into your hand. Yeah, so there's more damage on this. That seems pretty good to me. I just couldn't justify 9 damage for this. Adding debris to my hand seems so bad, especially when I never took these minion cards to get rid of them. I like that change. Buffed Gather Light card. Oh wait, no, this is the Star Gainer. They buffed that. Interesting. I already thought this is a pretty solid card. Interesting. Okay, so now it's giving you even more block. That seems pretty good. I thought this card was kind of fine where it was, to be honest. But okay. Buff the Heirloom Hammer card. Damage increase. Okay. That's probably good. I also, that's another one of those cards where I'm just like, I just never went into the colorless card trees ever, but I'm sure this one can get good if you start actually getting these cards like Charge and Begone to work, and you go into that, spec into that more often. But yes, I feel like you should be getting more damage, so I like that. Buffed I'm Invincible card, block increase from 9 to 10. I thought this card was already very good, but if they want to buff it up, go ahead. This is the one where if you put it on top of your drop pile, it plays for you at the end of your turn. It's a pretty good card. I think I've taken it a couple times and had it work for me. Like every turn, just take one of those Cosmic Inheritance cards, or whichever one puts it back on your top of your deck, and the Lightsaber Photon Strike or whatever. Draw and put one on top of your deck. You get this thing to go like a lot during your turn. And this can be just your block straight up. Buff Kingly Kick card. Damage increased. This is the one where every time you do, it costs like 4 or something. Yeah, whenever you draw this card, reduce its cost by 1. Damage increased. Okay, that makes sense. I would never really take this card either because there's only a couple that let you draw. There's only like 2 cards that let you draw things more often, I feel like, in the game for Regent right now, if I'm not mistaken. So I usually didn't have what I needed. And if I did, I would rather have played I'm Invincible, so I just never really took this. And he's got good damage in other ways that require less setup, so Buff the Kingly Punch card. Base damage increase from 8 to... is that a typo? 8 to 8. Just the upgraded version? Oh, they've upgraded the scaling on it. Whenever you draw this card. So they're both draw. The Kingly ones are draw. Okay, that's fine. Once again, I haven't really played a lot with those two very much. Buff the Minion Dive Bomb card. Energy cost from 1 to 0. Okay, I like that. I feel like anytime you create a card, it should cost 0 on this character. I'm not going to lie. You're already spending the energy to get it to the point where you want, you know, you want to do that action. And so having the colorless cards that you make cost energy, if they're not just the colorless card pool, like the region specific colorless cards, having them cost energy just clogged everything up. You couldn't do as much on your turn because you'd have to play a card just to get the card, and then you'd have to play another energy just to play the card that you just made, and it just was so rough. So this buff makes sense to me, and hopefully it'll make playing with those cards more fun because of how scarce energy is in this game, or can be in this game. Nerfed Minion Strike card, damage decreased. So just a slight decrease. That's probably fine. I think this is the one that allows you to draw, which we just looked at, so that's good. Draw and 6 damage is fine. Buffed parry card. Okay, this is another one. This parry power, I just feel like is so bad, man. So this buff makes sense. I just feel like unless you're making multiple swords, when would you ever take this? And like you'd have to have so much energy unless you made them 0 cost somehow to even play multiple Sovereign Blades in your turn. And so you're only going to be getting this block once, maybe every 3 turns. I don't know. It depends on how big your deck is and how often you're getting your sword back. So that just did not seem justifiable for me for 6 block. If it was upgraded, maybe. But the fact that they're making it 8 makes it a lot better, I think. So that's a good change. Buff the Patter card. Oh, this is that block card with the Vigor. Buffing the block gain. That's probably fine for me. I haven't taken this a lot because I feel like the only multi-attack cards this guy has are, which is when you want Vigor, is when you're striking multiple times with one card, I think, is all the star-related stuff like Radiate, Stardust. So buffing that block gain seems good to me. Because I'd rather have a Gather Light than this 9 times out of 10. Just give me some stars, man. Don't give me Vigor unless I've got the cards I need. But buff Solar Strike card. Wow, they're buffing that. I already felt like that was one of his better base strikes. This is the card that gives you stars. It upgrades to 2, so it's just a better Venerate upgraded if you don't have your Venerate upgraded. But damage increase, interesting. I thought that card was already pretty solid, along with Gather Light. I'm surprised they're buffing both of those. But okay. Buff Spoils of Battle card. Oh, okay. Forge increase. I already thought this is one of his best Forge cards as it was. So they're increasing the gain from 10 to 12, and the upgraded version is the same way, from 15 to 17. That's cool. I think that Spoils of Battles is one of his strongest, one of his strongest Forge cards right now. If you do go into that, just because it's the cheaper, it gives you so much for the cheapest, I think. That and Metal Bulwark I like a lot too, because you're actually, Metal Bulwark is essentially, I like to think of it as dash on the silent. You're getting a ton of block and you're getting damage, but it's not as immediate as the silence attack. It's more delayed and usually more damage. So those are 2 of the Forge cards that I like to take when I, maybe like the only Forge cards that I like to take, and maybe the Smith if I have a ton of star generation. But okay. Nerfed Void Form card is now ethereal, so it's like Echo Form, and the upgrade is changed from +1 card to losing ethereal. That is probably a good change, because when I took this card, I've only had a couple runs with this. But when you have that card, your whole win condition is playing that card as fast as you possibly can. Because after that, everything is so easy, bro. Like, the energy is just flowing. You can play whatever you want, basically. And it giving you an extra card, free card play was nuts. So for it to change to that is probably a good thing. But yeah, energy being one of the most precious resources, this card is super strong. So changing it in this way, I think is fine. Same way Echo Form is. I think that's a good direction to take it. Buffed Rotten War. This is the card that, this is common strike that forges for you as well. They're increasing the forge on it. So that is good. I think that'll make this card a lot better, actually. I still think I'd prefer a Solar Strike in most cases, because I feel like no matter what you spec into on the Regent, it's nice to have star generation. So if I had the choice between the 2, I'd take it, but I'd take Solar Strike, but I still think this is a good change to make it a little bit stronger, make me look at it the second time, maybe. Okay, the Necrobinder. I think between the 2 of these characters, I like the Necrobinder more right now. They feel better to play. Let's see here. Nerf Banshee's Cry. I actually haven't even seen this card in one of my runs yet. The cost increased from 6 to 9. Goodness gracious. I know it's strong, but I haven't actually... 6 cost card, deal 33 damage to all enemies, cost 2 less for each ethereal card played this combat. So they're just making it so you have to play more cards to be able to use it, which is probably fine. And the upgrade no longer increases damage. So yeah, obviously a good card. I don't really have an opinion on it right now because I haven't played with it that much. Borrowed Time. This is, they nerfed it. Now I will say, I think the Necrobinder is the most energy rich of any, maybe that them in the defect of any of the Slay the Spire climbers, whatever you want to call them, or survivors. I don't know what they're called, but they get so much energy. They have Friendship, they have this, they have, what's the other one? Summon, the one that summons and gives you energy next turn. They have so many energy cards, so I love playing them for that reason. But they're nerfing Borrowed Time, they're increasing the self-doom, they're doubling it. That's crazy. And if you upgrade it, they half it. So a little more dangerous to play a ton in your runs, and the energy gain no longer increases on upgrade. That's probably, so yeah, they're nerfing it pretty hard. They're making it so you can't play it as much during your turns, if you don't have a lot of health especially. So the less health you have, the worse this card is, obviously. And the energy gain no longer increases. So yeah. But I still think this will be a good card, just because of the amount of energy and utility it provides. But I don't think it's as good as Bloodletting anymore, or better than Bloodletting. Bloodletting, I think this is better than Bloodletting probably now. It might be on par or a little bit worse, I'm not sure. But still a great card, but it makes sense if they nerfed it. Capture Spirit, I think this is the one that does 4 damage and you get a bunch of souls, which, yeah, it is. At 3 souls on upgrade, it's 4. That was just, I would add this into all my decks no matter what I was specking into. It was so good. Decreasing the HP loss, so it's like almost nothing at this point. And the souls, and they're nerfing the souls, dang. So probably a good change because I would always take this. It was just so much draw. It's basically 4 draw delayed for 1 energy. Buff, man, there's a lot here. This is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Buff Dance Macabre. I haven't taken this card either. Whenever you play a card that costs 2 or more energy, gain 3 block. Yeah, I just haven't taken any of the 2 or more energy cards that much. But it makes sense why they give her so much energy, because they want you to be playing more energy, higher energy cost cards. The block has been increased on it, so don't really have an opinion on this, but more block makes sense. If you're gonna be playing heavy cards, just to be able to get this into play makes sense. The payoff being better. Buff Debilitate. Wow, really? Damage increased. I thought Debilitate, I mean, okay, to be fair, I play a lot of multiplayer, and Debilitate is like a must take if you see it. Buffing the damage on it, okay, it's interesting. I didn't think it needed it, but I'm glad that they're doing it, I guess, because I like the card. Change Defy card, upgrade no longer increases weak, but increases block by 3 instead of 1. So Defy is the ethereal card, like also I feel like a must take. It's a common, it weakens the enemy. And if you upgrade it, it does 2 turns, like very good. And it gives you block, which is so important on Necrobinder. Increasing the block, yeah, that's different. That's definitely different. That'll change the way it plays, we'll have to see. Nerf Dirge, yeah, okay, so Dirge was one of the best cards. This character has a lot of strong cards. Dirge was very strong though. Just being able to cycle, especially with how much energy you get on this character, like I mentioned. Getting a ton of summon, which is just max HP essentially, and more damage for Asti. And also getting souls, so you can go through your deck more quickly to play that card more often, as much as you want, was very strong and was basically a must take. So making it exhaust makes a lot of sense. Change the Grave Warden card. One of her best block cards, I think. It's essentially a delayed draw 1 and 8 block. Upgrading the amount of block you get from it. Okay, so they're increasing block on our block cards, but not giving you the rest of the other effects, which is probably a fine change because the block is so valuable on this character. But the soul is no longer upgraded. That's probably fine. Buff Sculpting Strike card. They're buffing this card. Also a very good common strike, which just allows you to put ethereal on any card to do more damage. This card was already very good earlier. I'd like to take it and put on my strikes and defense, just to keep my deck, get it even smaller during fights. But buffing it up just by 1 damage, we'll see how it plays. Nerf the Seance card. This is the one that allows you to turn a soul, make one of your cards in your drop pile a soul. They're making it cost 1 energy now, unless you upgrade it. And the upgrade no longer makes a soul plus. That's probably a good change because this card is very good. You can basically whittle down your deck without needing any card removes during fights to keep it super streamlined, and it gives you a ton of draw, so that makes sense. It'll be a very, like, you're going to want to get the upgrade for this card, I think. It'll make it that much better because you can play it every time you see it, which is the way it is now. So that's probably deserved. Okay, that was all the changes for the new characters. Colorless cards, buff Seeker Strike. I'm not even that familiar with these. I know Eternal Armor. They're making that better. That makes sense because 3 energy for 7 plating just didn't seem good enough for me when you can get plating on the Ironclad for 4 plating on the Ironclad for 1 energy. It just, the economy didn't seem right there. Hidden Gem can no longer be generated. Interesting. Change production card. Upgrade. This is the one that gives you just 2 energy for free. Oh, so you can't, it doesn't lose exhaust when you upgrade it, it just gives you an extra energy. So you can only use it once. I thought this card was one of the best colorless cards, I'm not gonna lie. The fact that you could just get a ton of energy on like 1 every 3 or 4 turns is really good. Damage increase on a Seeker Strike. I'm not even sure. I think that's the one that lets you pick 1 of 3 cards from your deck to play or something, which, yeah, I hadn't taken it, so that's probably a good buff. Discovery card, it costs 0 energy this turn, is free to play this turn. This means that if the card it generates has a start cost, it's now also reduced to 0. Okay, so Discovery buff just makes sense for the region. Here we go, Potions and Relics. This is exciting. Amethyst Aubergine Relic. So this is the one that gives you 10 gold. It's been increased. So that makes it a lot better, I think. I thought it was already pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I was never sad to see it. I'm like, okay, just give me some extra money, man. I'll take it. But I do know people thought it was weak. So yeah, that's a good change. Buffed the Book of 5 Rings Relic. This is the one for every 5 cards you add to your deck, you get 15 health, which I think it needed a buff. I've had it pay off in my runs maybe once or twice when I've gotten it, because you don't always want to add a ton of cards to your deck. So making it so that when you get the payoff finally it's a little bit better, I think is a very good idea, because 15 just seemed kind of underwhelming, to be honest. 20 is a little bit more sizable. Buff the Bowler Hat. Gold increase from 20% to 25%. I don't know why they're changing that. Maybe just because people are complaining they can't buy stuff in this game because everything's so expensive at the shops. So they're making it easier to get gold, and they're decreasing the amount relics cost. So that's cool. That'll make for more fun builds that you can make via buying relics at shops, which is a good thing, I think. But yeah, 25% is a lot. We'll see how that plays out. That's a good relic. I'm always happy to see either one of these, to be honest. This one more so, obviously, but buff Permafrost block gain from 6 to 7. Permafrost is always one that I'm like kind of upset to see. I'm like, whatever. But then I have it in my runs. I'm like, man, that thing is actually doing work. So, but yeah, 6 was a little low. I think 7's fine. Good change. Planisphere Relic, HP gain increase from 4 to 5. This is another one that I feel like a lot of people dog on, but I think is pretty solid. But if they want to buff it so that I get more HP, that's great. That'll change the way I path for sure. Stonecracker. This is one that gives you the upgraded cards. 3 upgraded cards in boss fights, I think, in your draw pile, which I always thought was kind of meh. But now it works in all combats, but only upgrades 2 cards. So I like that a lot more, honestly. Give me more upgrades more often, as opposed to 1 upgrade twice, 2 or 3 times per game. 1 or 3 times per game. Oh, enemies. Okay, here we go. Enemies. Nerf the Bygone Effigy. This is statue, floor 1. Damage decrease from 15. Wait, nerfed him? 15 to 17? 13 to 15. Oh, maybe that's the Ascension. Okay, damage decrease from 15 to 13. Still stacks with 10 strength. So I guess he does 23. He just does less damage, which is fine. Buffed Burdonus. Okay, that's probably fair. My opinion, I think the frog is, if you don't have AoE, man, the frog parasite is the hardest elite in Overgrowth, in my opinion. I think the statue, a lot of people talk about how hard it is. I don't think he's that bad. You literally just have to play your skills before you attack him, and I feel like he's not a problem. And maybe use 1 potion. And I've never really had problems with him. Same with Burdonus. Burdonus just felt like the easiest by far to me. There's so many ways to make him not a problem with weak and with potions. Like, you just spend 1 potion, he's probably fine. You just blow him up. If you're taking damage cards, you'll be fine. I think people are complaining about this guy because they don't like to read about the slow effects. Like this, if you just play your other cards first and then attack him every turn, he's really not that bad. I've found, but that's just been my experience. The swoop attack increased from 16 to 17, so they're making him hit a little harder, which is probably fair. I felt, yeah, like I said, I think Burdonus is the easiest of the 3. And that might be just because his HP What did I just say? The HP hole? His HP, his whole health bar is the lowest, I think. If you consider the frog parasite, you've got that, the initial enemy, and then all the wrigglers combined is a lot more, and the statue has a lot more. Berdonus had the least, and he had no like special effect. He was just getting a little bit stronger return, so if you could just nerf him in some way and just go in on damage, he wasn't that bad at all. Change the calcified cultist plus the toadpole encounter. Now calcified cultist plus sea punk. Oh, I don't even think I've ever seen this one, but we'll have to see how they changed it. Oh, they took it out, and now it's the sea punk and the calcified cultist. Okay. Well, toadpoles are kind of pushovers. Sea punk obviously demands a little more respect because it's just him. I think he is still one of the easy fights on the underdogs, but we'll see how that plays. Buffed the Rocket Claw. Oh, Rocket Claw and the Kaiser Crab. Charge up strength, gain now skills with Ascension from 2 to 2, and his HP was increased. And his rage power strength buffed from 5 to 6. So they're making him a lot more scary, and they're buffing the Crusher Claw. Oh crap. Adapt move strength gains now scale from Ascension 2, 2 to 2. HP increase. They're making him tankier, and they're making rage power strength buff from 5. They're making them both worse. Yeah, I feel like I haven't fought that boss a lot, but I don't think I've ever died to them except for once on a high ascension with a bunny where we were pretty underpowered and probably shouldn't have even made it to the Act 2 boss, so that probably is deserved. They probably need a little bit, me made a little bit stronger. Okay, here we go. Hallelujah, nerf the decimillipede. Or the decamillipede. I hate this guy. This guy's so rough. All the elites in Act 2 are rough, I think. HP increased, or decreased, so they're just giving him less health overall, which I think is fine. It's just tough because it's so rare, at least the way they are now, that you can kill one on turn 1. It's hard to kill one on turn 1 because so much is being asked of you to block already on that turn. So you're already taking a bunch to the face if you are able to kill one. So decreasing the HP might make it so that you can actually do a little bit of blocking and kill one to make the fight easier. Is that guy probably going to come back? Yes, but I still think handling 2 enemies at a time is better than leaving all 3 alive. That's just the way I feel about the fight. I know some people like to try and chunk them all down at the same time, but I just feel like you're asking your person to do too much. Like you're trying to block all that and whittle them down while they're all, scaling. At least when they're dead, they're not actively scaling or debuffing you. So I think that's a good change. That'll make the fight probably flow a little bit better. Nerf the Fabricator. That is the Dr. Octopus looking guy that summons the bots. HP value of all bots decreased by 5. Okay. Never really had a problem with this guy, but I can see how when the bots get going, if you're not close to killing them, it gets a little crazy. So that's probably a good change. Change the Tunneler. Change the Tunneler normal encounter. The Bullbug is now replaced by a Chomper. Oh my gosh, no. No. Oh no. The Tunneler. The Tunneler. So now he's not with the Bullbug, which I thought was a fine fight. He's going to have a Chopper, which is I think one of the hardest enemies. Anything with artifact in this game is just brutal. The double Chopper fight usually does more damage to me than any other floor on Act 2. And that's, to be fair, that's usually in multiplayer. I've only played a lot of multiplayer. I haven't done a ton of single player, but these guys are brutal. So putting more of them in the game is not something I want, but we'll see. I think they are a lot easier in single player. They have a lot less artifact, but in co-op, man, they get. Maybe it's just my teammates that don't take enough, or me that doesn't take enough respect how much artifact they get. But they are brutal. Nerf the Living Fog. Okay, that was honestly probably needed. This guy was rough. Gas Bomb HP decreased from 10 to 7. Deserved. Living Fog is brutal, man. He asks you to do a lot very early in the Act 1. He asks you to be able to do a lot of damage to his bombs and do a decent amount of block, or yeah, and you can only play one skill. He's rough, man. So we need a nerf there. Buff the Lost and Forgotten encounter. Okay, yeah, these guys are kind of pushovers, I'm not gonna lie. They seem scary, but I've never had a problem with these guys. Stat stealing now scales with Ascension. Increase from 2 to 3 of their respective stat at A9. The Forgotten now deals an additional point of damage for every dexterity it has. Oh my gosh. So we're just gonna give this guy strength for dexterity now? That is rough. Okay, but yeah, These guys are kind of easy. Change Nibbit. Now properly scales with Ascension. His move now scales from 2 to 3 strength. Slice move now scales. Okay, so they're just making it so that his Ascension encounter actually will probably take some more health from you if you don't kill him fast. Nerf Phantasmal Gardeners. Yes. Oh my gosh. Once again, it's mainly in co-op runs. These guys destroy us every time, man. Decreasing their HP. Yeah, much needed. I wonder if these are even going to apply to co-op. I wonder if the tweaks they make to the single player change the co-op numbers, or if this is all just based on solo. Yeah, these guys are rough. The key is taking one out of the fight. They're a lot like the Sentries elite fight from the first game. If you can take one down, they're not that bad usually, but man, it's hard to take one down sometimes. Buff the Sea-Punk. Okay, well, now that they're adding the Sea-Punk to more fights, they want him to be stronger, I guess. Sea Kick move damage increased. Okay. Not a big change, but we'll see how it plays. Nerf the Terror Eel. Crash damage now scales from 17 to 16. Thrash Vigor now scales from 7 to 6. 6, 7. Sorry. 6, 7. Okay. I haven't had a lot of troubles with the Terror Eel. I know on the Silent, I've heard that he is pretty much just a loss and end runner unless you have poison, but that's probably a good change if people are really struggling that much with them. The underdogs in general just needed some tweaking, I think. Change test subject. Phase 2 no longer has the pounce move. Test subject phase 2 no longer has the pounce move. Instead, it will repeat multi-claw move every turn. Okay. To be fair, okay, so usually how my test subject fights go. His first phase is just kill this guy ASAP, take some damage to get him down, because you don't want to be playing your skills. Just get him down ASAP. Second phase is when I'm playing all my powers, and I usually play my powers on the turn where he's doing pounce move, which is just the one big attack instead of the multi-attack, because he gives you wounds every time he hits you. It's the Book of Stabbing at that point. So making it so that he does multi-claw moves every turn is way scarier. And this guy was already kind of a pushover, I felt. By the time you get to the phase 3 with him, you're so powerful. You got all your powers up. You've played all your potions. He's no big deal, even if he has intangible. So I like this change. It makes the second phase a little bit more threatening, which is kind of like the middle of the fight when you're trying to scale your character up to the point where he's easy in phase 3. So good change. I think that'll make the fight harder, which it was already kind of easy, just based on my experiences. But Ancients. Okay, we're changing some stuff. Cool. And it's a lot of Niao right now. Buff Niao's Fury card. The number of cards returned to your hand now upgrades from 2 to 3. It's probably a good change. I don't love Niao's Fury. It's okay. It's just it's an exhaust card, so it's not like you're ever gonna see it more than once a fight. It's good damage early, which is fine. If you could choose which 2 cards you return to your hand from the discard pile and you still kept it at 2 or even made it 1, I think I'd like it a lot more, because then I can play my starter cards more often. But making it random is just kind of, you're just rolling the dice unless you drew it on your first turn. And the thing is, even if you play, like, say you're a Necrobinder and you play Summon and Unleash, and then you want to bring him back, because those are your 2 best cards, you've spent the 2 energy to play him, and then you play Niao's Fury to get him back. Like, oh yeah, I'm smart, I'm going to get these cards back, and then you have 0 energy. So it's like, I don't know. Most of the time, it's just like, whatever. I guess it's good for mitigating bad turns where you don't draw any block or strikes if you're close ending a fight or you're taking a lot of damage. You can play it and try and get some of what you need for that turn, but I'm not very impressed with this card, so I think buffing it is probably good. Making it so you draw more. Nerfed Niao's Leafy Poultice Relic. This is the one that transforms and takes max HP, I think. Blessings max HP loss increased. Yeah, that makes sense. This is one of the better ones, I think. Most characters in this game don't need a ton of max HP. I'm thinking about the Necrobinder. Dude's max HP is just another resource you can burn for amazing stuff. Silent usually has pretty good block. Doesn't need max HP. Really just the Ironclad is the one where you're like a little hesitant, because that max HP is nice to have around because you're healing all the time. But and Regent too, I feel like I have a hard time blocking on the Regent or just getting him up to where I need him to be. Defect, it's kind of whatever you want. But yeah, probably deserve nerf because the 2 transforms is just so good. You're getting good cards and removing bad cards simultaneously. So deserved. Nerfed Nealis Precarious Shears. I'm guessing they saw that everybody was taking these because these are like my 2 favorite ones. So they nerfed them. Blessing Self-Damage Increase. Yep, also deserved. I would always, if it was an option between like, 3 relics and one of these was there, I'm always looking at these first. Just removing the strikes and defense is so good, man. So making it where you have to think about it a little bit more. Definitely, these two definitely changed the way I path my fights. Like if I take these, I'm like, okay, maybe I can only take 2 elites instead of 3. And it changes the way I interact with the events in the game. I'm not as gung-ho to strip more max HP. So buffing them up is probably smart. Change Tanks' Tri-Boomerang Relic. Instinct enchantment no longer reduces cost, instead it doubles damage on enchanted attacks. Wow, that's very different. So you no longer can make attacks cost 0, which was very strong because of the, once again, not as much energy in this game. It's not as easily found. But now it doubles damage on enchanted attacks. So if you have enchanted attacks, it's very good. But if you don't, it's very bad. That's very different. Very different. Okay. I'm excited to see what kind of crap I get going with this. At some point, I'll have a corrupted like scythe on. I had a corrupted scythe. If I would have gotten this with the corrupted scythe on Necrobinder that one run, I definitely would have taken this. That would have been fun. Changed Vaku's Preserved Fog Relic. Cards removed decreased. Oh. Yeah, I mean, this one is also very good, man. I don't understand how this is ever a bad relic to take if you don't like any of the other ones, man. Just removing 5 cards, even if you get a curse, it's essentially remove 4. If you really want to think the curse is that bad, which is never bad. It's like just the bird cage on crack, or empty cage. So, man, that's way worse. Only 3 card removes, but you get the curse and it goes away. But yeah, still seems pretty good. I still think I'll take it in some runs. Definitely not as powerful though. Events. Change Dense Vegetation event. Oh man, I don't know the names of the events. Trudge on options now lose HP gain. I think this is the one where they like chant when you pick a decision. They're like, hoo, hoo. So you lose HP, gain 61 and 99 gold. Not as good. I feel like it was more than this, so they might have nerfed it a little bit. Change the Endless Conveyor event. Can no longer spawn unless all players have at least 120 gold. Grab off the belt option cost. I don't even think I've ever seen this. Grab off the belt option. Okay, no opinion on that. Change Grave of the Forgotten event. Can no longer spawn unless every player has a card with exhaust in their deck. Oh, I think this is the one that allows you to make it so a card cannot exhaust. Yeah. So that makes sense. Change the Morphic Grove event. Can no longer spawn unless all players have at least 2 transformable cards in their deck. Group option now costs all of the players' gold. In multiplayer is now a collaborative event. I think I've gotten this, but I can't remember exact details. Change the Spirit Grafter event. Rejection option is now lose 10 HP to upgrade a card. I know the Round Tea Party event can no longer spawn unless all players have at least 12 HP. Okay. So it looks like they're just narrowing down which events you can actually get based on the state of all the players in the thing, which is fine. They want to make it so that every event, whether you're playing single player or multiplayer, is actually an event where you're making a choice. You don't want to show up to an event where you have no HP and you can only pick the one option. They want to give you events where you're actually making choices every time instead of just being forced, I think. Which is good. Good for the game. More choices, that's more player enjoyment. Nerf to the Beacon of Hope card. Can no longer be stacked. Oh, okay. I wasn't even aware. I've never had the opportunity to play this card, even though I play so much multiplayer. But that seems like a fine change. It's pretty strong. Nerf to Believe in You card. Oh, yeah. It definitely probably needed it. This Believe in You card is one of the best things in the game. So you're getting 3 instead of 2 energy. Or 2 instead of 3. But you can still upgrade it for an extra one. Yeah, 0 cost, just give somebody 3 energy is kind of broken, so kind of deserved. Nerfed Huddle Up card, also very good. These 2 cards were amazing. The fact that you can just get draw for everybody or energy specifically targeted. So nerfing it so now exhaust makes a lot of sense. We're almost done here. Art Infection Affliction card overlay. Infection Affliction card overlay is no longer animated when the phobia mode is turned on. Okay. So some people didn't like the wriggling of the worms, I guess. Added alternate phobia mode visuals for the hive backgrounds, the insatiable worm, the frog parasite, the wrigglers, the terreal, and the entomancer. Added portrait for the following cards: Gang Up, Seeker Strike, Spinner, Volley. That's a colorless card. A lot of these are colorless cards, I think. Those two are. This one is, and that one is. So Spinner's, I think, the defect glass spawn card. Updated asset for Kifuda Relic. I maybe have seen this once, but don't remember what it looks like. Added asset for no energy gain power. Added animation for Avicopter buff. Added placeholder sketches for the following relics: Neos Talisman, Hefty Tablet. Okay, very cool. Okay, well that was the beta updates. I guess. Wait, what was this? Added phobia mode, tick box and settings. You can now skip relics received at treasure chests. Oh yes. Yes, I'm going to be making a video about trying to win. I'm going to be making a video about trying to win the game without relics. So that actually is going to be huge for that because there's no achievements, but I want to do that achievement, see if it's possible. Added disclaimers for daily and custom rooms that you cannot unlock epics and achievements with them anymore. Yeah. Added icon top bar. Players unable to obtain epics achievement in a run. Hovering over the character icon now explains if you can get achievements. Can't get achievements or epics. Added a way to disable map drawings in multiplayer. The invite button. I want to know why they felt like this was needed to be added. Invite button now uses a hotkey on controller instead of manual navigation. Okay, good. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of these changes. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.